clothes, give me love, and give me shelter, shelter. Simple life, it's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love, and give me shelter, shelter. Yeah.
In the long arc of history, nations and movements are often shaped by the lives of individuals who dare to challenge injustice and expand the boundaries of human dignity. One such towering figure was Reverend Joseph Jackson, a preacher, activist, and tireless advocate for equality whose voice echoed through decades of the American civil rights struggle. Born in the segregated South, Jackson rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most recognizable champions of social justice in the United States. As a close ally to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he stood on the front lines of the civil rights movement, organizing communities, confronting discrimination, and helping to expand political participation for African Americans and other marginalized communities. Through the Rainbow Push Coalition, he built bridges across race, class, and ideology, reminding the world that the struggle for justice was inseparable from the struggle for human dignity. Over the years, Jackson's influence extended beyond American borders. He advocated for peace, humanitarian relief, and diplomacy in global conflicts, believing that moral leadership must transcend nationality. Now, as the nation reflects on his life and legacy he leaves behind, many remember a man who never stopped marching towards the promise of equality. In solemn ceremony, surrounded by family, fit leaders, and generations he inspired, the civil rights icon is laid to rest. His earthly journey concluded, but his message enduring. The justice is not inevitable. It must be pursued with courage and faith. Yet while we remember the life of a man who fought for peace and human rights, the world today is again gripped by profound uncertainty. Across the Middle East, tensions between the United States, Israel, and Iran continue to shape a dangerous geopolitical landscape. Military buildup, proxies, conflicts, and diplomatic brinkmanship have raised fears of a broader regional confrontation, one that could ripple far beyond the borders of the region and reshape global security and economic stability. But the turbulence of our world does not stop there. In the Caribbean, the people of Haiti continue to endure profound political instability and humanitarian hardship. In Central Africa, conflict and displacement persist in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where millions face insecurity despite the nation's immense natural wealth. In the Horn of Africa, the people of Somalia continue to confront the combined pressures of political fragility, terrorism, and climate-driven humanitarian crisis. From one region to another, the challenges of our time reveal a common truth. Societies that fail to invest in the long-term stability, human development, and inclusive governance often remain vulnerable to cycles of crisis. It is against this global backdrop, that we turn our attention home to Liberia. Because while the world wrestles with conflict and uncertainty, we as Liberians must ask ourselves a fundamental question. How do we build a nation resilient enough to withstand the pressure of time, politics, and global change? And that brings us to our central discussion tonight. Topic: rebuilding Liberia cannot be hinged on a 6-year term. A national blueprint is a strategic imperative. Again, our topic for tonight: rebuilding Liberia cannot be hinged on a 6-year term. A national blueprint is a strategic imperative. Fellow Liberians, distinguished listeners at home and across the diaspora, welcome to the We to Our Liberians Movement podcast. I am none other but your host, C.H. Williams. Fellow Liberians, distinguished listeners at home and across the diaspora, welcome again, I say, to the We to Our Liberians Movement podcast. I am your host, C.H. Williams. Rebuilding Liberia cannot be hinged on the 6-year term. A national blueprint is a strategic imperative. That is not just a statement. It is a call to conscience. It is a declaration that the destiny of our nation cannot be reduced to electoral cycles, political slogans, and short-lived administrations. The work of rebuilding Liberia must transcend governments and become a generational commitment anchored in human development. Liberia's story has been marked by resilience, from its founding as Africa's first republic to the scars of civil conflict to the devastating impact of the Ebola crisis and the challenges of economic instability. Our people have endured, yet endurance alone is not development. Survival is not prosperity. We must now transition from recovery to intentional, structured, measurable national transformation. Today, many of our fellow citizens face displacement. Families remain uprooted by economic hardship, environmental vulnerability, and inequality. An inadequate social system. Our infrastructure, from roads to electricity to safe drinking water, remains fragile. Healthcare access is inconsistent and under-resourced. Youth unemployment is alarmingly high. Homelessness and urban overcrowdedness are visible, reminding or serve as a basic reminder that growth has not been inclusive. These are not isolated issues. They are interconnected symptoms of a deeper structural problem, the absence of a sustained national development blueprint that prioritizes people over politics. A 6-year presidential term, no matter how visionary the leader, is insufficient to transcend or transform a nation emerging from decades of fragility. What Liberia needs is a 25 to 50-year national blueprint crafted by Liberians, owned by Liberians, and protected from partisan disruption. At the center of this blueprint must be human development. Human development means investing first in people, their health, their education, their skills, their dignity, etc. Economic growth without human development creates inequality. Infrastructure without human capacity creates dependency. Political reform without social investment creates instability. And so if you're tuning, I ask that you please share this live with as many people as possible. This is the We to Our Liberians Movement podcast. I'm your host, C.H. Williams. If we are serious about rebuilding Liberia, then we must begin with 1, education as national security. An educated population is the foundation of democracy and economic resilience. We must strengthen early childhood education, modernize curricula, prioritize STEM and technical training, and empower teachers. Vocational training must be elevated, not stigmatized. Our young people must be equipped not only to seek jobs, but to create them. 2, healthcare as a human right. A healthy nation is a productive nation. We must expand community clinics, invest in preventative care, strengthen maternal and child health services, and train and retrain or retain medical professionals. Healthcare infrastructure cannot be reactive. It must be preventative and resilient. 3, infrastructure as an economic engine. Rural connectivity between rural and urban Liberia is essential. Reliable electricity must move from privilege to standard utility. Clean water and sanitation systems must become non-negotiable. Infrastructure should be designed to stimulate agriculture, trade, and small enterprise development. 4, youth employment and entrepreneurship. Over 60% of Liberia's population is young. That is not a liability. It is our greatest assets. A nation blueprint must create pathways for youth employment through agricultural modernization, digital innovation, small business financing, and diaspora investment partnership. 5, which is our final point tonight, housing and urban planning. Homelessness and overcrowded community reflect systemic planning failures. We need affordable housing strategies, land reforms clarity, and climate resilient community planning. But beyond policy pillars, what truly makes a blueprint transformative is continuity. It must be institutionalized, rectified through legislation, embedded in educational system, and monitored by independent oversight bodies. It must belong to the nation, not to one administration. Our inspiration can come from across the continent. Nations like Rwanda have demonstrated the power of long-term national vision through structured development strategies. While contexts differ, the principle remains universal. Sustained planning yields sustained progress. Liberia must define its own path, rooted in its unique history, culture, and potential. We are the land of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Africa's first elected female head of state, and a global icon who have demonstrated that Liberian leadership can influence the world. But now we must ensure that leadership translates into structural national transformation. The We Too All Liberians movement believes that rebuilding Liberia requires collective responsibility. Government cannot do this or do it alone. The private sector cannot do it alone. The diaspora cannot do it alone. Civil society cannot do it alone. We too are Liberians. We are Liberians at home and abroad. We are youth and elders. We are entrepreneurs and farmers. We are policymakers and educators. And together, we must demand and design a national human development blueprint that extends beyond politics into prosperity. Let us move from reaction to strategy, from personality-driven governance to policy-driven continuity, from temporary relief to permanent transformation. Liberia's future must not reset every 6 years. It must rise steadily, intentionally, and collectively. So if you're watching tonight, I am your host. This is C.A. Williams, and this has been the We Too All Liberians Movement podcast. Let us build Liberia we deserve together. Thank you for watching tonight. I look forward to seeing you on another episode, hopefully coming up here in the next week. You have a good and blessed night. God bless you now. Bye for now.
It's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love, and give me shelter.